There you go. Oh! Spoilers!
What's up everybody, it's Crosscurrent. Today I've got a monster manual to all the monsters inside of Dark and Darker. In this I'll talk about how common they are to run into, how many hits until you defeat them, how they attack and defend, what they drop, basic, rare, epic, legendary, specific type items, and then anything else that wouldn't be in these categories. First we're going to talk about Dungeon Level 1. This is a place you spawn into at the start of every game. So unfortunately with this game in its current state, we have no way to actually make a guide on how much health or armor or damage these monsters deal. So we'll be playtesting that when the next playtest comes out. The names of some of these monsters might seem a little bit strange, but we did our research and we did find that these are the names of the monsters, despite how unusual they might be. So the first monster they run into on Dungeon Level 1 are the spider mummies. They're very common, so you see them just about all over the map. They take only 1 to 2 hits to kill them with a basic weapon, depending upon the type of weapon that you have. Their attacks are a medium speed poke type attack. You barely even see that they're doing it. It does very low damage, and unfortunately these enemies drop nothing. Now if you're trying to kill these, the best thing to do is to find a vase in the corner, which is spawning them, and to destroy that, and then you can destroy the spiders without them coming back. Another simple way to kill spiders is just to be on a different level. Even if it's only like 1 inch higher, the spiders won't be able to get to you. So the skull bats, I'm not entirely sure if that's actually the name of the enemy. I've not seen anyone actually die to it, so I have no clue, as there's also no wiki nor page to actually find this information on. So we're just gonna go with that. Start off, they are very common to run into. They typically take 1 to 2 hits to defeat them. To attack, the skull bats will have their eyes change from green to white or light yellow, and then they'll charge straight at you. They typically drop some pretty good loot. They actually drop a lot of pendants and amulets from what I saw, as well as maybe some gold or jewelry. The bats are of course flying, so it can be very hard to actually hit them unless you're using a bow and arrow. Next we get to the mummies. The mummies are typically found within big groupings within the dungeons and are very common to find, just not in the hallways. Typically they will take 4 to 6 hits to be destroyed with a basic weapon. For their attacks they wind up and then do what looks like a claw swipe attack. And when it comes to loot, they drop very basic loot. Now we get to the zombies. The zombies are very common to find, both in rooms and in hallways, sometimes even other areas like the underwater place. They take 5 to 7 hits to actually destroy them with a basic weapon, and their attack is a wind up, and then they shoot out a poison cloud in front of them. This poison cloud stays and moves after the zombie dies. They drop basic to rare type items, but normally it'll be basic items. We now have the skeleton archers. They are common to find. They take 4 to 5 hits to actually kill them, and their attack is where they draw back their arrow and then fire an arrow. They drop basic to rare type items and occasionally will drop bows more than anything else. Sometimes the skeleton will actually draw back once and shoot 2 arrows rather than 1. Sometimes the arrow goes past the block that you have up, even if it's point blank and looks like it wouldn't go past that. And it's best to fight these enemies by looking around a corner and taking a peek shot. Now with skeleton footmen, these are the skeletons that have just a sword and nothing else. They are very common to find. They take 5 to 7 hits with a basic weapon to fully kill. Their attack is a wind up and swing with their sword, and they drop basic to rare type items. Now we have the skeleton guardman. The skeleton guardman has a sword and a shield when it walks around. They are uncommon, and they take 6 to 8 hits to kill with a basic weapon. Their attack is again a wind up attack, and to defend they actually hold up the shield and walk slowly towards you. They drop basic to rare items and occasionally items for the fighter and or berserker. Now we have the skeleton wizard. The skeleton wizard walks around with a dark cloak and a staff. They're pretty rare to find, and they take 10 or more hits to be defeated with a basic weapon, depending upon which spells were used. They attack with a charged up fireball spell, and they defend with a protection spell that looks like a pink circle. They drop basic to rare items, occasionally wizard or cleric items. There are typically other skeletons guarding it as well, so you gotta be careful if you're going in alone. Mimics are monsters in disguise as treasure chests. When you open up, they come out and attack you. They are rare to find. They take 12 to 15 hits to kill with a basic weapon. Their attacks are unblockable and fast, and it's very hard to dodge. They typically drop basic to rare type items, and if you're trying to avoid any damage taken, just hold crouch button. When it is low health, it'll also act like a normal chest again. Keep attacking it when it's in that stage to fully kill it and loot it. The giant dragonflies actually look like mosquitoes from what I personally saw, and are extremely rare on dungeon level 1. I actually only saw that they're on there by someone who died to them. They take 1 to 2 hits to kill, and they shoot out poison in many different directions as their attack. They drop very basic loot, if anything at all, and most are found on level 2 to 3 of the dungeons. They're very hard to see in the dark, and they're very hard to hit with any type of weapon. We finally have the Wraith boss, the toughest enemy on dungeon level 1. They wear a dark cloak and they hover around with blue engravings on. They're very rare to find on dungeon level 1. There's about 2 per game. They take a lot of hits, more than 20 at the bare minimum. For their attacks, they charge up and then dash forward at you, doing a swiping attack. They drop almost always rare items, and it takes a full team with basic gear to kill it normally. A lot of times I think it'll take even better than basic gear, so you gotta loot up before you go against it, or your whole team's gonna get smoked. Also, it's very good to switch players out when someone's about to die, have another ally block the Wraith, stand in front of it so then attacks it, and then starts to go aggro on you instead of your friend who's about to die. So now we finally make it to dungeon level 2. This is where all the enemies are a lot tougher, and the only way to really get there is to find the red portal when you're on dungeon level 1 to go down further. Now I'm not going to talk about all the enemies I already brought up. I'm just going to bring up the new enemies that spawn here to save you guys time. First off, we have the demon dogs. The demon dogs are rare to find in level 2, and they take 7 to 9 hits to kill with a basic weapon. They do quick biting attacks once they get close to you. They drop mainly rare items, but sometimes consumables as well. It's best to attack these enemies from afar, and there are almost always a pair of 2 of them. Now we also have gargoyles in this game. Like gargoyles, they're dark, flying creatures that look like demons. They're very rare to find, and they take roughly 15 to 20 hits with rare weapons. We've never gone against them with basic weapons. Their attacks are where they fly over to you and do a downward dash, like a swoop type attack, that will knock you down if you get hit as well. They drop rare items, and they fight in pairs of 2 or 3. The final monster on this list is the Lich boss. With the Lich boss, this information I did not find on my own, so I got to shout out SoBadStrange on YouTube. He made a video on it, and I got most of my information from him. I'm using my own gameplay because I should do that, but definitely check him out if you want to know any more information about this in particular. Now when it comes to Lich, it is extremely rare to find. I've only ever seen one place where it actually spawns. Don't fight this with anything lower than rare items, and either way, it's going to take a lot of hits to actually kill it. It summons a horde of skeleton guardsmen, and also casts powerful spells when you're fighting it. When you kill it, it drops multiple epic, legendary, and unique items. I don't know any other boss or enemy that does that. Be sure that when you're facing it to have at least one person as a cleric. The heals are crucial, the shielding is crucial, and the ability to resurrect your teammate once possibly it gets one shot is crucial. It can one-shot players. Do not attack its minions, just keep attacking him and moving around in a circle so the minions won't swarm you. With dungeon level 3, I have never truly made it here. I've heard people claim that they have, but it really looked more like dungeon level 2, so I'm not sure if that was a mistake or something else, since there's unfortunately no information anywhere about this. But I do know to get to dungeon level 3, there is a place to the side that has all this little jump areas above the lava, and there are these big double doors to where you're supposed to insert a skull. On one of the levels I did see a skull, but unfortunately I didn't pick it up because I thought it would be like Indiana Jones where you touch the wrong thing and your whole team gets killed. So if you have any ideas about that, please let me know in the comments below. I'm definitely going to be doing more stuff with that in the next playtest on October 28th through the 30th. Alright guys, if you like the content, please be sure to hit that subscription and hit the bell. Like the video if you enjoyed it as well. This video took me roughly 24 hours to make, to find all the details, to find all the clips, and everything else. So I'd really appreciate it if you did consider subscribing. I'm making a lot more content down the road. I definitely did have some help with making this video, so be sure to check out one of my friends. His name is OrkishFence on Twitch, twitch.tv/OrkishFence. Check him out. Really nice guy, trying to make a name on Twitch. For those of you that are still here, be sure to check out this video on YouTube. It talks about everything you need to know before you get inside the dungeon in Dark and Darker. That being said, guys, I'll see you next time.